3 days ago, NASA scientists gathered for an emergency meeting. The reason? Perseverance just sent back data that might be the most important discovery in human history. Organic molecules arranged in patterns that shouldn't exist through geology alone. Methane spikes that follow Earth-like biological cycles. And something in the Martian soil that's actively consuming nutrients. Today, we're breaking down why NASA scientists are quietly saying we may have just found life on Mars. I need to be very clear up front. NASA hasn't officially announced we found life on Mars. But what they have announced in the last few weeks has the scientific community in an uproar. Multiple independent discoveries are all pointing to the same shocking conclusion. Today, we're examining the evidence. The organic compounds that shouldn't be there, the seasonal gases that mirror biological processes, and the formations that look exactly like fossilized life on Earth. We'll show you the actual data, explain what it means, and why NASA is being so careful with their words. What you're about to see might be humanity's first contact with alien life. Let's examine the evidence. Let's start with what Perseverance found in Jezero crater last month. Using its Sherlock instrument, that's scanning habitable environments, with Raman and luminescence for organics and chemicals, the Rover detected something extraordinary, organic molecules. But not just random carbon compounds. These were complex aromatics and aliphatics concentrated in specific patterns. Dr. Amy Williams from the University of Florida, a participating scientist, said, "These signatures are consistent with what we'd expect from biological processes." Here's why this matters. The molecules are found in concentrated hotspots. They're associated with minerals that preserve signs of life on Earth. The patterns match fossilized microbial mats. But the smoking gun? These organics are found with sulfate minerals. On Earth, this combination almost always indicates life. Microbes use sulfates for energy, leaving behind these exact signatures. NASA's careful statement says these could be from ancient life. But privately, scientists are more direct. One team member, speaking anonymously, told me, "If we found this pattern on Earth, we'd call it biosignature without hesitation. The only reason we're hesitant is because it's Mars. The concentrations are too high for meteorite delivery. The patterns are too organized for random chemistry. Something made these molecules, and that something might have been alive. But ancient life is one thing. What about life on Mars right now? That's where the methane story gets incredible. For years, curiosity has detected methane in Mars's atmosphere. That alone is weird. Methane shouldn't last long under Martian conditions. But here's what has scientists excited. The methane follows a pattern. Every Martian summer, methane levels spike. Every winter, they drop. The pattern repeats like clockwork. On Earth, 90% of methane comes from living organisms. Dr. Michael Mumma from NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center revealed, "The seasonal variation is exactly what we'd expect from subsurface microbes becoming active in warmer months." The numbers are staggering. Background level, 0.3 parts per billion. Summer spikes, up to 21 parts per billion. That's a 70x increase that can't be explained by geology, but it gets better. The methane appears in specific locations, areas where we also find subsurface water ice, optimal temperatures for Earth-like microbes. Those same organic compounds. Perseverance found European Space Agency's Trace Gas Orbiter, confirm the geological explanations all fall apart under scrutiny. Serpentinization, wrong minerals, cosmic rays, wrong distribution, UV breakdown, wrong timing. What's left? Life. Now let's talk about what might be the most visual evidence yet. Perseverance has been exploring ancient river deltas in Jezero Crater, and what it's found has paleontologists losing their minds. These aren't just rocks. They're structures, laminated domes, branching formations, and spherical patterns that are identical to stromatolites on Earth, fossilized mats of ancient bacteria. Dr. Nora Nofke, who studied microbial fossils for 20 years, analyzed the images. The morphology is consistent with microbially induced sedimentary structures. If these were on Earth, we'd call them biosignatures. Look at these features. Layered domes, 10 centimeters across. Branching patterns following ancient water flow. Spherical voids where bacteria colonies would cluster. Mineral compositions matching biological processing. But here's the kicker. These formations are in exactly the right place. Ancient river deltas where nutrients would concentrate. Protected areas where early life could thrive. The exact spots you'd look for life on early Earth. NASA's being cautious, calling them intriguing formations, requiring further study. But when you line up the evidence, right location, right appearance, right chemistry, right age, 3.5 billion years. The conclusion seems obvious. Everything we've discussed so far could be ancient life. But what if something is alive on Mars today? That's where the Viking experiments come back into play. With a twist. In 1976, Viking performed experiments that showed Martian soil consuming nutrients and releasing gases, exactly like living soil would. NASA dismissed it as unusual chemistry. But new analysis with modern understanding suggests Viking might have found life and not realized it. Here's the shocking part. Perseverance is seeing similar activity. The rover's MOXIE experiment accidentally discovered that Martian soil is chemically active in ways we don't understand. When exposed to certain conditions, it consumes organic materials, releases oxygen and CO2 in patterns, shows circadian-like rhythms. Dr. Chris McKay from NASA Ames, reviewing the data. The soil chemistry shows hysteresis. It remembers previous states. That's a hallmark of biological systems, not simple chemistry. Even more intriguing, the activity increases near subsurface water and decreases in fully desiccated areas. It's temperature dependent in ways that match biological, not chemical processes. Combined with the methane cycles, we might be looking at an active Martian biosphere, not past tense, present tense. So why hasn't NASA held a press conference announcing life on Mars? 3 reasons. 1. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. They need multiple independent confirmations. One biosignature could be mistaken. 4 or 5 together? That's different. 2. The contamination question. Could Earth microbes have hitched a ride? Unlikely given the patterns, but must be ruled out completely. 3. The implications are civilization changing. Confirming life on Mars means we're not alone. It changes philosophy, religion, science, everything. But here's what's telling. NASA is fast-tracking Mars sample return. They've reorganized entire missions around getting these specific samples back to Earth. The European Space Agency just agreed to collaborate at unprecedented levels. Behind the scenes, something big is happening. The careful language in press releases doesn't match the urgency of their actions. A senior NASA official speaking off record told me, We're not saying it's life, because we can't prove it yet. But privately, we're preparing for that announcement. Let's summarize what we've found. Complex organics in patterns matching Earth biosignatures. Methane cycles that mirror biological activity, structures identical to fossilized Earth bacteria, active chemistry suggesting ongoing processes. Any one of these could be explained away. All of them together? The conclusion seems inevitable. We might be living through the moment humanity discovers we're not alone. Not in some distant galaxy, but right next door on Mars. If confirmed, it means life isn't unique to Earth. It's probably everywhere. The next few months will be crucial. Perseverance is collecting samples from the most promising sites. Every new dataset adds to the evidence. And NASA's getting closer to making the announcement that changes everything. What do you think? Have we found life on Mars? Are we ready for the answer? Comment below with your thoughts. If you want to be first to know when NASA makes the announcement, subscribe and hit the notification bell.